Michael Carrasco, and this is my wife Tonya, and this is our Heart and Soul story.
We came to know Heart and Soul when our pastor in West Tennessee had found out that we were moving to Knoxville, and he said, my friend has a son who is getting ready to start a church over there, and he would probably like some people to help him get it started. So when the pandemic hit, clearly nobody was going to church. Everything was shut down. Finally, once the pandemic kind of lifted, we were able to go to the kickoff parties that they started having. The first one actually happened on my birthday, and it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time, met a lot of nice people.
So I've never been involved with any religion whatsoever growing up, and when Tonya brought the idea to me of helping out at Heart and Soul with the launch and launch parties and being a heaven bringer, I was a little precautious about it, kind of off, more of the not being involved in religion and Christianity at all before I started there, and then deciding that I would, join the launch team and take part in that, and was accepted at that, even though I wasn't a Christian at the time.
I remember being really nervous about messaging you and letting you know, yeah, we want to be a part of it, but my husband doesn't believe, so are you still okay with us being a part of the launch team? And you were just like, yeah, that's fine, you can belong before you believe.
And no one treated me negatively because of the way I felt, and I was invited with open arms, and I was very vocal about my non-belief, and that didn't offend anyone. No one ever objected to that. They were more than welcoming to me. The relationships that I grew inside the church, even not being a non-believer, was great. My relationship with Pastor Austin has always been awesome. It was awesome before I became a believer, and it's just as good now that I am a believer. And just having heart-to-heart conversations with them changed me and put me on this religious journey that I'm on today, and brought me to where I finally committed to giving my life to Christ in March of 2021. Super Bowl Sunday has run through the Bible. That was the weekend, or the Sunday, that it really hit home. Said the sinner's prayer again and was in tears. So the next week, I sat down with a book that Austin had gave me that I took a long time to finally get to reading. I said, I'm going to read this book. And in 3 days, I read The Case for Christ. And in that 3 days, with all the other things that happened, after reading that book, I gave up. I looked to the sky and I said, if this is the path you're leading me down, obviously you're talking to me, it's time to give my life. And that's exactly what happened. So the next week I met with Pastor Austin, and at this very location, in this very spot, and we got to talking about how I was feeling and where I was at. He kind of walked me through what the next steps were, and just so happened the very next weekend they're doing a baptism, and he's like, we need to get you baptized. That's one of the next steps. It just so happened that it was the very next weekend. So day of the baptism, no one in the church knew it was happening. I didn't want to tell anyone. I kind of wanted it to be a surprise because of how much time everyone at Heart and Soul had invested in me, because they didn't give up on me. They were there for me. They, were completely accepting of me. Got in the tub, got out of the tub, and I don't know that there was a dry eye in the crowd. I felt bad because I made a lot of people cry, but on the other hand, it reaffirmed to me that there is people here that care for me, and regardless of where I was at before that day, they were there for me.
Heart and Soul has really been a great thing for our family to be able to participate in on every Sunday. When we have people that come to town, come to visit, and they're like, well, what are you doing on Sunday? Our kids know, we know, it's the same standard answer, we're going to church. And one of the great things that they've allowed is our kids to be able to serve. Being part of a mobile church, you have plenty of opportunities to be able to serve. Whether you are a believer or not, they'll still let you serve. Not only the community that you get just from the people that you interact with at Heart and Soul, but the family time that you get, and that you're doing this for the Lord. It's not something we have to do, it's something we get to do. And we get to do this as a family every single week. I had heard Brother Brian preach a sermon a year before that saying, pray for your one. You've got somebody who has not come to know Christ. Pastor Austin started out this same year with that same sermon. You've got somebody you know that has not given their life to Christ. Don't give up on them. Pray for them. I would definitely encourage you to not give up on the person that you are praying for, and you pray for them every day. If they're, out getting high or drinking, being picked up from jail, you don't judge them. It's not your job to judge them. You leave the judging to Jesus.
I had this preconceived notion of what I thought church was going to be, and I was totally wrong. It can be for you if you give it a chance, if you listen to what God says to you and open your heart to that. It can really change your life, and I'm living proof of that. I'm Michael, and this is Tonya, and this is our heart and soul story.